Welcome to Team Lone and Child Boxing, keeping it real boxing, everything boxing. About to get it in for y'all. We ain't even gonna hold you. Let's go ahead and get it started, man. Got a lot to bust down today, man. Got a lot to get into. We may have a possible interview. The person that was set up, we did have a confirmation. So sent out the link so they may pop in. We got a surprise guest, maybe, as the show goes on. But if not, we just gonna get it in, get it in, get it in. How everybody doing on this Monday afternoon? Pray everything is well. Pray the weather didn't the new weather didn't throw everybody off too much, man. Let me calm down. I'm too excited. How y'all doing out there today? Let's get it. Let's get it. Boxing to DC. Shout out to y'all. Sports Forum. What's up with y'all? Let's get it, man. Got a lot going on, a lot to bust down, man. A lot to get into. Of course, right now, but Terrence Bud Crawford is the hottest thing trending on Twitter and social media for various reasons. But let's get into it, man. First, he went under fire for his comments about Canelo Alvarez. Now, first, let me say this. I think what he said was took out of context. You know what I mean? Because what he said wasn't la lie, but he said it in the wrong manner. He said that Canelo Alvarez don't fight black fighters. Well, we all know that's not true. You know what I'm saying? We know that part's not true. But what the part that he was, I guess, trying to stick to and allude to was the fact that it is a double standard in boxing towards how he was able to not fight Jamal Charlo and Boo Boo Andre. That's what he was sticking on. You know what I mean? Because like for me, like for example, the fight that he's trying to get, or the fight we all want to see, him versus Bud, that fight not happening. Everybody's attacking him and Earl for not making that fight happen. But the thing is this: Earl and Terrence wasn't in the same weight class their whole career. They wasn't always in the same weight class, but Boo Boo Andre, Jamal Charlo, and Canelo was in the same weight class twice, at 154 and at 160. And at both times, for some odd reason, in either one of these weight classes, these fights didn't happen. So that's the issue. That's the issue right there. That's what Terrence Crawford is alluding to. He's not trying to turn it into really. He is turning it into a race thing, but he wasn't necessarily hopping on it on that level. He's just saying it's not right that them two guys, both world champions at 154 and at 160, and the fight not happening. Jamal Charlo was Canelo's mandatory at 160. You know what I mean? And that didn't happen. Boo Boo Andre was Canelo's mandatory at 154. Then he was supposed to be in line for a unification bout with Canelo at 160. So both times in multiple weight classes, these two guys was in line for that fight, and it didn't happen. You know what I mean? So, and Golden Boy is basically saying, and along with the zone, they're basically saying in order for Jamal Charlo or Boo Boo Andre to get a shot at Canelo, they're going to have to fight each other. You know what I mean? So that's what it's all balling down to. That's what it's all banking down to. But that is what Terrence was alluding to. You know what I mean? It's just how, he and Earl not fighting, and him and Earl every day they just get on easy. You go to either one of their pages on Twitter or whatever social media they just get ambushed. Both sides on both ends. Earl gets it just as much as Terrence. Terrence gets as much. They're just getting ambushed for them two fight not happening. But Canelo gets to go along and not get that fight. And then I see every excuse under the sun. Oh, the Charlo boys are not they haven't done enough. Boo Boo Andre's name is not established. He's too boring. He's do this. What did they do? What did either one of them do to get a Canelo fight? What did Amir Khan do to get a Canelo fight? What did Yildirim do to get a Canelo fight? What did Josito Lopez do to get a Canelo fight? What did Kermit Sartron do to get a Canelo fight? We could go Liam Smith. What did he do to get a Canelo fight? You know what I mean? Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? So let's stop with the excuses. Them two boys deserve their shot, and they shouldn't have to fight each other to get it. But we're gonna fry Bud, and we're gonna fry Earl. Canelo needs the same accountability. Why does he not get that fight? Why did Lomachenko get the Devin Haney. Why does Ryan Garcia get the dodge Devin Haney? It's all over the place. So that's what Terrence Crawford is talking about. It is a double standard in boxing. If we're going to hold this particular group to the feet to the fire, let's hold everybody feet to the fire, not just them. You know what I mean? How does these things keep happening? They're happening right in front of you. For crying out loud, Ryan Garcia is Devin Haney's mandatory. He fought a fight to become his mandatory so he can fight him and did not fight him. How does that happen? And why do we sit back and say, okay, that's okay? You know what I mean? That's fine. He's got a social media following. He's big on Twitter, so he doesn't have to he doesn't have to do this. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? We really need. It's a free country. Everyone else voices their opinion. What you mean by that, though? What you mean by that? Everybody gets to voice their opinion. I need more. Talk to me, Leo. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The comments not coming through clearly on this, but we're gonna work around it. We're gonna work around it. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna work around it. We're gonna work around it, bro. So keeping it moving. So from then, Bud was hot. Bud was hot. Bud was hot this week. I don't know what's going on with Bud, but he was hot this week. He went from there to go on to rant about he trolled the PBC guys, said, I'm scared of them. We know he's joking, but basically just making fun of them because the fight's not getting made. Then he went from there to say, he listed all the things that he had to go through for why these fights not happening, to get a belt, the whole nine. At the end of the day, he's upset because he's not getting what he feels he needs. And right now, I think the best thing for him to do is just to fight his next fight. Prayerfully, it's against either Sean Porter or Manny Pacquiao. It's a fight that we worth watching. Prayerfully, we'll get that. Get in the ring, get that over with. After that, he's through with the top ranked contract. I'm not saying he got to sign the PBC, but I'm telling y'all right now, if he signs back with Top Rank or if he signs with the Zone, I don't ever want to hear nothing about this fight ever again. I don't ever want to hear, oh, they're ducking him, they dodging him, they're this, that, and the third. I don't want to hear none of that. If he signs back with Bob Arum after the man said he's losing money on him, enough money to buy a house in Beverly Hills, and then after the fact, you know that there's nothing over there for you on the Zone other than maybe Virgil Ortiz. Don't go over there either. You know what I mean? Either go independent, be your own boss. Let Mike Tyson, Triller, whomever, get the money up for you to make the fight happen with Earl. But if you sign with Eddie Hearn or if you sign back with Bob Arum, I don't ever want to hear nothing about this fight ever again. I don't care. Y'all can say Earl is scared till the cows come home. I'm not rolling with that no more. If that happens, because there's no reason for that to happen. I mean, I think now more than ever, boxers need to be more independent anyway. Everybody just, if you get an opportunity to get out your contract and be independent, do your own thing and just bounce around like Canelo's doing, like Teofimo's doing, that's the trend. You know what I mean? Be your own boss. I can live with that, but I cannot deal with if he decides to go back into okay. What's up, Troy? What's up with you? What's up, Troy? How you doing, man? Get him over here. Come on here. Talk to me today. What's going on with y'all out there? All right, moving on. Sean Porter. At the end of the Virgil Ortiz, Maurice Hooker fight, they did catch up with Bud Crawford. He did do an interview. I'm not talking about the one where he said he's over the Earl situation. I'm talking about he did another interview. He did another interview with one of his reporters. And in that report, he did say that Sean Porter was his mandatory. And if the Manny Pacquiao fight, which we probably won't happen, doesn't happen, that Sean Porter is the fight he's going to pursue. However, soon after that, we now know that Sean Porter tested positive for COVID. So don't know how that's going to affect the situation or the fight. I don't know if they're going to still be able to negotiate the fight to put the fight together. Not sure how that works out, but prayerfully they can get that together. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully that's what that gets worked out and they go ahead and make that fight happen, or maybe Maybe the Manny fight comes through. I don't mind if the Manny fight happens because it looks clear that Earl is going to fight. Earl, the only fight that we know for sure that's going to happen, that's pretty much guaranteed to happen, is Earl Spence is going to fight Uganda's Ugas. That fight is pretty much going to happen. We know that's pretty much going to happen. They're just working on the particulars, but that fight you could pretty much stamp for almost probably about the middle of the year, probably about May or June. You could pretty much stamp that fight. That fight is pretty much guaranteed to happen. You know what I mean? So that fight we know that we're going to get, but we're not sure if we're going to get. Not sure about the rest of them, but hopefully let's let Manny. Manny look like he's running out of options. So go ahead and give Bud his shot. Go ahead and make that fight happen. So that way we got two big fights, and then later on when Bud is out of that contract at the end of the year, probably December or the beginning of the next year, we'll get the fight everybody's chomping at the bit for. But prayers going out to Sean Porter and his situation and his COVID situation. Hopefully that doesn't hold him back. Hopefully that doesn't mess him up. But mess him up too bad, and he can be able to get back in the ring and keep things moving. Moving on. Looks like Lomachenko is going to be in the ring with, I don't want to say his name wrong, but Nakatani. To me, that's a trap fight. Nakatani versus Lomachenko is a trap fight because we all remember this guy. I remember this guy. He gave Teofimo Lopez the fight of his life. And here in the DMV at the MGM, he gave Teofimo Lopez his toughest fight, his hardest out. He gave Teofimo Lopez a tougher fight than Loma did. So I'm gonna be honest with you. He's tall, he's rangy, he's lanky, he's tough. And I don't know if Lomachenko wasn't really willing to step inside to make a war out of the fight with him and Teofimo Lopez. I'm not sure what he's gonna do with this guy. So that's something that we all gonna have to pay close attention to. I think this might be Loma's swan dance if he don't come to Boogeyman. This dude Nakatani it's not an easy out. It's not a keep busy fight. It's not a tune-up fight. This is a real fight. So Lomachenko is gonna have to really dig in and really come out, on his best game with this guy. Because like I said, this guy you can make an argument. You can make an argument, not saying he beat Teofimo, not saying it was a robbery, but it was a very tough, gritty fight. It wasn't no easy out. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't an easy night out. It wasn't just a walk in the park for him. You know what I mean? So he might have to just really have to get his, be on his A game and come with it. You know what I mean? Against this guy, because this is not an easy fight. It's very dangerous. You know what I mean? So, hopefully Loma can get it done and Loma can get back in the mix because I want to see Loma back in the sweepstakes at 135. I think Loma can add an extra spice to it. I think, when we talk about the 135-pound division, everybody automatically just wrote off Lomachenko like he's not part of the mix. No, he's still a live player. He's still very much alive and well. He's still much in there. But I think this guy, Nakatani, he can make things very difficult for him, and he may be out of the mix after this fight with Nakatani because it's like I said, it's not an easy out. It's not an easy fight. It's not the kind of guy that Lomachenko has been having success against. He struggled with Luke Campbell because Luke Campbell had size and range. He struggled with Teofimo Lopez because he has size and range. And now you're putting him in the ring again with an even taller, longer guy. I don't know how that's going to work out for him, but like I said, I hope he does better than he did against Teofimo. I hope he gets himself back into the mix, and hopefully, we can get another major fight out of him. But right now, at this point, it looks I'm not sure about that fight. I wait to see how both of them look in their camps before I make a pick. But like I say, it's not gonna be no walk in the park. It's gonna be a fight worth watching too. Also speaking of that, they ordered Fortuna to fight Ryan Garcia, which has a lot of us puzzled because Fortuna and Ryan Garcia both was mandatories for Devin Haney. Neither one of them are fighting Devin Haney. We don't know how that works out. How did that work out? How did y'all put together that? But anyway, it's not going to be an easy fight for Ryan Garcia, but still, we're trying to figure out why we couldn't get one of them in the ring with Devin Haney, preferably Ryan Garcia. So apparently you don't have a bigger name than Devin Haney to fight, not taking nothing from Javier Fortuna. He's a great fighter, tough fighter. He gave Robert Easter a well of a fight. You know what I mean? So no shot. I'm not taking no shots at Javier Fortuna, but right now, Devin Haney is one of the guys that we're saying is one of the four kings. So why would you pick Fortuna over Haney? It's not a bigger financial boost. It's not a bigger boost in status. So why is that the fight, he chose? So see, when we look at all these people going back and forth about who's ducking who and who's not fighting who, these type of topics don't come up. These are the type of things we got to look into. You know what I mean? These are the type of things we got to touch on, because how does that happen? How did he not get that fight? You know what I mean? Why are you not fighting Devin Haney? You fought a fight to become his mandatory. You know what I mean? But the fight don't happen. But moving on, Mike Tyson has said that, before he's gone, he wants to get rid of all promoters. He's out here. He wants fighters to become their own bosses, and he'll do whatever he got to do to make sure all the best fights happen. And also, he wants to get them away from these promotional companies that's not doing right by them. I applaud that as well. So for those that's complaining about us not getting the best fights, for those that's complaining about that, listen, help is on the way. Help is on the way. Mike Tyson is starting his own Legends League. You got Trella out there that's making some noise. So let's just let these things play out, and hopefully these fighters get smart and decide to go independent, and instead of going with these companies and that's messing up all these fights. And maybe Mike Tyson and Trilla, along with the rest of the guys, can make some things happen, and we'll start getting the fights we want to. And then that'll take away from these YouTube guys being put on platforms that these fighters have earned. See, like I said, I'm not hating on these YouTube guys. I mean, I hate the fact that you see a YouTube guy being the main attraction over a world champion, which is crazy in itself. But, boxing is also an entertainment business. And if you don't put yourself in a position where you are outshining a YouTuber, that happens. You know what I mean? It happens. YouTubers are putting people in the seats. YouTubers are got people watching the screen. So listen, I think all these boxers need PR reps. I'm volunteering to be a boxing PR rep as well. I'll be your PR rep. These boxers need PR reps. Y'all need somebody to run your Twitter. You need somebody to run your Instagram. You need somebody to run your stuff, because you let a guy who sat behind a computer and built up all these views. Now he's getting a screen and a venue and getting the lion's share of money and being the main event at a fight in a sport you put your whole life in. That's absolutely crazy, but that's the world we live in. But that just goes to show you how shaky this business is. So when we all go back and forth with each other on Twitter, we go back and forth with each other on YouTube, we go back and forth with each other on here. We fight and fuss about who's who and what's what. But this is the reality of it. It's a popularity game. It's a money game. So if you want to see a fight happen, even if you don't like that fighter, make that fighter seem like he the best thing since sliced bread. When they fight, buy their pay-per-view. So that way, when they both get super popular, they'll just fight each other because the money is there. You know what I mean? Stop picking sides. And if a fighter lose, don't tear them down. This is the thing we got to do. But I mean, every week you hear people complaining and fussing about these YouTube guys. I'm over it already. These YouTube guys got where they are, and they're popular. And the thing about it, let's be honest, these YouTube fights might be more exciting than the real fights, because the real fights, we keep seeing great fighters fighting garbage cans. We keep seeing great fighters fighting keep busy fights. We keep seeing great fighters fighting tune-ups. Please tell me, why in the world did we sit there and go through all this stuff just to see Teofimo Lopez fight a contender, just to see Ryan Garcia fight a contender, just to see Devin Haney fight a contender, when all four fighters was available? Don't understand. Every star at the division was available, but none of them are fighting each other. It happened right in front of our face. It's right in front of you. Truthfully. And to be honest with you, let's be honest. There's no reason why Terrence Crawford is not fighting Errol Spence now, because neither one of them has a fight sign. We clearly see that. But he's going to fight Ugas. Hopefully the COVID situation does not hurt Sean Porter from getting that fight. And hopefully, maybe he'll get the Pac-Man fight. Maybe Pac-Man do it. I don't see Pac-Man doing it. I'm just being honest. I don't see Pac-Man taking that fight. I hope he does it. But I just don't see him doing it. You know what I mean? I just don't see him doing it, man. You know what I mean? Now, moving on, in other news, Tank had a hit and run situation that's been brewing for quite a few months. The news broke like almost at the end of last year, but about a hit and run where he allegedly ran into somebody in the streets of Baltimore and just drove off and what have you. To be honest with y'all, the fact that there's nobody that can really even put him at the scene, he may very well have done it, but I'm pretty sure we all know money talks. And they're going to find a way to smooth it over to make it look like it wasn't even him driving the car. Maybe it was somebody that looked like him driving the car and slap him on the wrist and keep him moving. He's not going to jail for 7 years behind that. And I just don't see it happening. And he's going to move on. But I mean, but it made news. Everybody wanted to get all up in arms and shine him and all that. And then, he's on live where everybody saying, oh, yeah, Tank, man, let's hope Tank don't get out of jail. And he's on live playing Madden. Like, he's going to be all right. I don't see that being such a big deal. Prayers going out to the people who was injured in that accident because, we forget in these topics that it's actual people that, ended up in the situation. So we pray that they okay. Moving on. Jermall Charlo switched up his stance on the Benavidez situation yet again. Now he's saying he's want to stay at 160 and he's willing to fight Boo Boo Andre and Triple G. Now this is the one time I'm gonna say that's Al talking. That's not Jermall Charlo talking. He must have called Al. He probably really wanted to fight, but he must have called Al, and Al said, "Hold on, you about to mess up the money." Let's be honest. What Al is looking at is this: Canelo may never fight you, but he will fight Benavidez. See what I'm saying? Why should I put my two fighters in the ring and then you end up beating Benavidez and I miss out on one of my fighters getting that Canelo fight? Because we know he's going to fight Benavidez. So he's probably moving Benavidez out of the way so Benavidez can eventually get that Canelo fight. Now he's probably telling them, hey, bro, if you want to really get that Canelo fight, you probably going to have to knock off Demetrius Boo Boo Andre or Triple G because Canelo probably is eyeing them as well. So this is how you play it. You go after them while I let Benavidez go after, maybe Caleb Plant or something like that. And that way I got two guys that may get a shot at Canelo and not just one. I mean, you hate to say it. It's the nature of the beast. That's the name of the game. That's the business of the game. That might be it. So I think that when you see him flip flop the way he did, I think he got that call and Al was like, hold on, cuz, pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. That kid's only 21, 23, 24 years old. He's strong. And I know for a fact that Canelo's looking at him. So I'm not gonna let you go out there and either ruin him or him ruin you when we got plenty of big fights to make between the two of you. You know what I mean? Versus y'all two fighting each other. So I'm pretty sure Al's the one who pulled the layers back on that. Slow down. Come on back, rewind. Let's get over here and get this situation that way, which I can understand. I wanted the Benavidez Charlo fight because I think we all just wanted a good fight. I think we all just wanted a tough fight. But if they're gonna go on and he's gonna fight Boo Boo or Triple G, I'm cool. If Benavidez is gonna fight like a Caleb Plant and the winner get the winner of Canelo and Billy Joe, cool. If that's the case, then we don't have no problem. I really don't have a problem with that. We just don't want to see a bunch of keep busy fights. We're over it. We want smoke all year long. Now, Dillian Whyte, which I'm tired of him. Dillian Whyte fought Alexander Povetkin this weekend and got his revenge from his knockout loss a few months back, and he stops Alexander Povetkin in the fourth round, and immediately after that, as soon as the fight was over, everybody started calling for Dillian Whyte to fight Deontay Wilder, which I kind of want that fight as well. I kind of hope that they don't do nothing to mess it up. Please set the standard straight. Please put the money together the right way so that fight happens because I think that's a wonderful comeback fight for Deontay Wilder. I think it's beautiful. Two guys that don't like each other at all. They hate each other. They've been going back and forth with each other for the last 2 or 3 years. He's been his mandatory, all of that. Let's make that fight happen. Granted, let's talk about something. The situation with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury and that fight happening. Listen, on Twitter, YouTube, y'all guys with those stories, y'all keep jumbling up stories. I don't know why y'all keep doing that. Everybody wants to jump around and jumble up stories. Listen, this is what happened. They were supposed to do it again. Tyson Fury has a contract signed by him that said that he's supposed to run it back with Deontay Wilder a third time. This is a fact. Nobody's lying. Nobody's making nothing up. That's a fact. It's a contract they signed. So to say all these people are going crazy, y'all should be saying this. No, he signed the contract. So legally, he shouldn't be able to fight Anthony Joshua without fighting Deontay Wilder first. I don't have a problem with that happening because I feel Deontay Wilder needs to get his stuff together first. I think he needs to get a fight underneath his belt, get his burns back, and then fight the winner of AJ and Tyson Fury. So I don't have a problem with that. But that doesn't mean legally what they did was accurate. That's all I'm saying. So stop with the y'all just hating and y'all just trying to, don't want to see AJ and Fury fight. No, that's not the case. Legally, Deontay Wilder is supposed to fight Tyson Fury again. That's why you signed the paper. Just like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua just signed a 2-fight deal to fight each other. So if they fight in a few months and one of them wins, and then the other one says, well, you know what, I'm not going to run it back. But legally, they supposed to. Y'all going to say the same thing. It's not rocket science. It's not craziness. Make it happen. Let it happen again. But I want him to fight Dylan White. Please get that over with. Find a way. Eddie Hearn. Be willing to be the B-side. Because for one thing for sure, Deontay Wilder's not coming back and giving Dylan White the A-side just because he knocked out Alexander Povetkin after getting knocked out by Alexander Povetkin a few months ago. That's not going to get you an A-side against Wilder. You know what I'm saying? So let Wilder be the A-side. Come on over here to Showtime or Fox. Bring Dylan White over here. It's an opportunity for him to get a whole nother audience other than that UK audience, which is nothing wrong with the UK audience. But yeah, bring them on over here. Let Wilder be the A side. The Tremors that we'll even let that fight be a pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it. Wilder versus Dylan White. I want to see that. And I got Wilder knocking him out. Yeah, he's perfect for Wilder. Perfect comeback fight for Wilder. He's perfect. Let that be that. Let that happen. You know what I'm saying? If y'all commenting, yeah, let me talk to me, y'all. Let me see what y'all got on y'all mind today. You know what I mean? A lot going on, man. And real quick. So the Gary Russell interview. I hope y'all enjoyed that last week because I really did. It was like I was like a kid in the candy store actually talking to the champ and all that. There will be a part 2. I can't confirm yet. Got to, within the next week or two, I'll be back in touch with them and I'll let y'all know what there be. And there will be other interviews from, the rest of the Russell clan as well. There's gonna be a lot of things going on because we're gonna be around them and working with them consistently. So it's a lot more gonna come from that. You know what I mean? But yes, there will be a part 2. There will be a part 2 because it was about to get hot and heavy in here, and then for some odd reason, man, the internet situation started happening, man. Which that's how it is with these Zooms, these lives and all that. It happens on everybody's lives. So I mean, it doesn't mean that somebody got bad internet or nobody got and things like that. But these things happen. You know what I mean? You see how all happen all the time on Instagram. Now, speaking of that, follow me on AK the Apostle Instagram and also Team Lonely Child, which is also on Instagram. Now, just so y'all know, I only control the AK the Apostle page, and Team Lonely Child is ran by the rest of the members of Team Lonely Child. So if you send a DM or something like that on Team Lonely Child, I may see it, but it may be somebody else to respond other than me. That's the only reason why I'm saying it. We all one group. We all one team, but we control different pages. And also, I'm going to be doing live interviews with fighters on Instagram as well, because some people don't want to come to Facebook. Some people only want to do the Instagram live, which is basically, Instagram is jumping for the boxing scene. And, everybody you want to see, everybody you want to hear from, they're all on there. And I chop it up with them from time to time on them as well. With that being said, man, I'm going to go ahead and bounce up out of here, man. We'll be right back at it probably a couple more times this week because I do have an interview set up. I don't want to, put it out there just yet. I want to wait for them to confirm, but I do have an interview set up. I had one set up for today, and not sure what happened with that, but we'll touch back base with them as soon as I get them on. We'll get it hot and popping. I'm gonna bring some legends through here. Some of the older fighters, some trainers, other people in the boxing media as well. We're gonna continue to let this thing grow and let this thing expand, and also again we're gonna get all the you know, the graphics and the intros and all that stuff too, man. Everything's a work in progress. You know what I mean? For this show in particular, man, let's let people know, man. Sometimes, you know, instead of waiting for everything to be perfect, jump out the window. Jump out the window, man. Take a chance, man. If you want to do something, man, do it. Don't let nobody tell you what you can and cannot do. Don't let nobody tell you how you should do it, how you shouldn't do it, and all that, man. Sometimes you just gotta do it. You know, for all y'all in my DMs telling me, you know, the things I need to do to fix the show, I see you. I'm gonna work on it. I'm doing my best, man. But until, man, you know what I mean? If the content is good, let's keep rocking, man. Peace and forever. God bless.